Hey guys, welcome to the Pulling Curls podcast. Today we are talking about decluttering. I know. Let's untangle it. Hi, I'm Hillary Erickson, the curly head behind the Pulling Curls podcast, Pregnancy and Parenting Untangled. There's no right answer for every family, but on this show, we hope to give you some ideas to make life simpler at your house. Life's tangled, just like my hair. Okay, guys, before we get started, remember to leave a review. Sure appreciate them. Thank you so much. Today's guest is the organizer behind Tidy Revival. I love that name. She is based in Sacramento, California, and she helps people to organize their homes through one-on-one work. She also has courses, and she is a self-proclaimed organizational nerd, which I absolutely love. I want to introduce today's guest, Carly Adams. Do you ever just feel like it's unfair that some people can have company over at a moment's notice? Their house is just super easy to clean up and they can relax on the couch with Netflix while you feel like you always have things to do around your house. That can totally be you. The Organized Home is here to help you simplify organizing. We're talking about decluttering, zones, organization systems that actually work. We've got assignments and challenges. I hope you'll join us. You can use coupon code UNTANGLED. Look for the Organized Home link in the show notes. Hey, Carly, welcome to the Pulling Curls podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Hillary. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, I am so ready to declutter. Like every morning, I feel like I should just go through my closet today.
Oh my gosh. I know I have so many projects that even I can work on, and I do this for a living. So I feel you.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of house.
Yes, too much house, too much stuff. And if we're all being honest, American culture makes it so easy to keep getting more stuff. And it just kind of seamlessly seems to flow into our spaces. So, yeah.
It sure does. So today we're going to talk about what to do when you're feeling overwhelmed. And I think first off, we need to say that's so normal. I totally feel that too.
Yes, 100%. That's what I hear from, I'm going to say like 95% of the people that I start to work with is I don't know where to start because it feels overwhelming.
Yeah, so overwhelming because you got to think it's a whole house. Like in your mind, that's what you're thinking.
Exactly. And that's why I'm really excited to talk today because we want to take it from nobody can see my hands, but I'm doing kind of like a big sphere, like getting organized. And instead of doing that, breaking it down into teeny tiny chunks so that it's doable. So you have a plan. And so it breaks it down from being overwhelming to being like, okay, I know what to do and I know what to do next.
Yeah. I will say even tiny chunks. There are times that I'm just like, just burn the house down. Like I'm just done.
I was joking with a client recently. I was like, there's not many things I'm good at, but decluttering and then small controlled fires. Just to help people just be like, you know what, just forget it. This area, we're just gonna burn it to the ground.
Right. Yeah. That's how you feel. So if you're like, these very organized people don't ever feel like that, you're wrong. Like we all feel like that. And there are times that every organizing project, I'm like, this was dumb. This was stupid. Why did I do this?
Yeah. And as somebody who works regularly with folks on overstuffed closets or rooms, entire rooms that have become kind of quote unquote, in my clients' words, like the dumping ground, it's easy to feel that, especially when it feels like the walls are closing in on you. You are not alone. This is very normal. And honestly, these strategies I had to work on this for myself when I was decluttering, but these are things that I work on for myself when I'm helping other people constantly. So very normal.
Okay. So what do we do when we're overwhelmed? What are our steps?
Okay. So we need a plan. Basically, that's the first thing we need. And that's what it all boils down to, because without a plan, it's overwhelming, but having a plan keeps overwhelm at bay because you have a direction. So the biggest analogy and the reason that I talk about this is because without a plan, you can go into kind of squirrel mode. You're like, oh, okay, well, I'm starting here, but then there's something that needs to go in the bathroom. And then I see the bathroom's a little unorganized. So then I'm like, and I start working in there. There's something that needs to go into the kitchen. And then I see this drawer also needs organization. So you just end up working a little bit here, a little bit there. You're not making any real progress anywhere. So it feels like you're not accomplishing anything because nothing's really getting finished. So the reason we have a plan is so that we can take a project, again, break it down into tiny chunks, but then complete one of the chunks, check something off the list, give ourselves a high five because we've done something. So people always say, I don't know where to start. Also very normal. And so what I say when you're doing your plan, and I'm going to talk you through like how to make your plan. So when you're making your plan, I always suggest like brainstorming, and the place that I want at the top of your list is going to be a space that's bugging you every day. And a bonus points if it's bugging you every day. Maybe it's a space that's you just for mom, something that doesn't have to do with taking care of everyone else. Because as parents and, busy professionals, matriarchs of the home, you're often doing that all the time. So if this is your bathroom, your clothing, a space that is for you, that's going to help you feel even happier because you're doing something for yourself. It's self-care at the same time.
Yeah. And no one's going to mess it up.
It's your realm. You can totally control it. That's an amazing point. 100%.
Yeah.
And more bonus points if it's a space. I want it to be a space that's bugging you every single day. So this can be a space that you hopefully use every day too. So when you have that win, it's going to keep you motivated. And to your point, other people aren't coming in the meantime, messing it up. This is your domain. So we're going to take whatever that project is. The next step, like say, for instance, it's your closet. Instead of thinking like, okay, closet as the first step, we're going to write that down, but then we're going to break it down into smaller steps. So that could be, and I'm just going to talk about my closet, just for instance, everyone's closet space is a little bit different. So maybe that's going to be, in my closet, there's kind of like 3 rack sections. I can break those down into 3 different sections. So section 1, section 2, section 3. I have a dresser in my closet that houses my off-season clothing. I'm a fan of seasonal rotations. Not everyone is, personal choice. But for me, that could be, okay, I'm going through drawer 1, drawer 2, drawer 3, drawer 4. It could be I'm going through, there's 3 different sections of the top of my closet. It could be section 1, section 2, section 3. The goal is to break it down into tiny chunks so that you could take care of that chunk in like 15, 20 minutes. Because that chunk of time is so much easier to find in your day than, okay, I need to sit down and block out the whole day for this. And I need to make sure to get a babysitter, and I need to pull everything out of the closet. And then once everything is out, then it feels overwhelming, especially in closets, actually, because I hear advice, or I hear people say a lot like, okay, I'm going to start my closet. So first thing, pull everything out. Right. And you see TV shows and things advocating this. I'm going to say I'm not a fan of it, because specifically with like hanging clothes, it's so much easier to go through hanging clothes when they're hanging. And instead of taking everything out and putting on a bed, it's just easier to go through it one by one and say, like, are we keeping it? Or does it need to go to a seasonal rotation if you're making one? Or is this a maybe? Let's set aside the maybes. Let's see what we have after we have all the yeses. Then we can go ahead and look at the maybes. Are these things we need to try on? Let's put this in a pile. Let's try on all the things at the same time. So just like a dressing room, it's like, what did we think about it? Side tip, if you're going through clothes, if there are things that you've tried on, 20 mornings and you never end up wearing it, count it as a no. It's not the best thing for you. We want everything in your closet to be like, heck yes, versus meh. I mean, it was $7, so I should keep it. Like that's not the best reason to keep it. So tiny chunks, 15, 20-minute projects. And then I wanted to give a few tips on like things to have on hand when you start, because I've just found this to be wildly helpful. These are the same supplies that I have. I'm going to have some other things too that we might need, like just in case when I'm with clients. But if I'm in a client home, I come with like 3 trash cans. I just stack them. I bring them with me. So one is labeled for trash, recycling, donate. And then if you're working in a space that has a lot of paper, I also bring something for a shred pile. And that just allows us, as we're going through things, to immediately say trash, recycle, donate. As those bins get full, you could bag it up. You could put those in separate piles, take it all out at the end of whatever amount of time you're doing. And it just makes it a lot easier. Then whatever is going to be a keep, you're going to want to sort those as you go. So in the closet example, keep shirts, keep pants, keep workout gear, whatever your categories are. I also highly recommend making sure to eat something before you start any decluttering project. If it is before mealtime, have that meal. If it's between mealtime, maybe just eat a little snack. Always have water on hand, because blood sugar levels, cannot stress to you enough the importance of making sure your blood sugar levels are steady while you're going through this process, because all the decision making will be fatiguing. And I would be like, this is something that as someone who does this with clients all the time, my personal food schedule revolves around when my client sessions are so that I can have a lot of protein and like have very even blood sugar levels before a session starts.
I think that's such a good idea because a lot of times you get to the end, you haven't eaten because you've been so focused, and then you're just like, I can't even haul out like the stuff to the trash or whatever. Like I'm just spent,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Oh yeah.
And you want enough to finish, like power through the end, like a workout.
Exactly. And it's just like, just like a workout, you fuel up before the workout, or you make sure to just like have a plan in place for it. Or how they say, don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry. Like it's just the worst idea. Yeah. Blood sugar levels, it's crazy important. You kind of don't think of it as being related, but I promise you it's super, super related. But yeah, those are the biggest things. You just want projects that you could start and finish if you need to in 15 or 20 minutes. You can go longer if you want to, but if you start there, that's fine too. And that's the thing that I want to stress. Like, that's fine too. Not everything needs to be a giant, sprint. This is really a marathon, but even marathon runners, like they're training and they're breaking down that race into tiny chunks mentally so that it's not overwhelming as like a giant race. So do something that's small enough so you can cross it off your list. If anyone's listening to this and then they do it, feel free to DM me. I want to digitally high five you. Like, you did it. This is awesome. And that's going to help you stay focused, because then when you have this plan in place and this list, you can cross it off the list and then you know where to work on next. So when you feel yourself starting to squirrel, you know where to focus in.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that type of list because I need someone to tell me what to do. Even if that person was me like a week ago, I need that person to tell me what to do.
Yes. I love when I'm like, thank you so much, past me. That was really great what you did there. That's the best feeling.
Yeah, because it can, if you don't know, okay, so first day I was drawer number 1, today I'm drawer number 2, you could be like, well, I think I'm just going to go to 6 today, or you're like, should I do 6 or should I do 2? Should I do 5? No,
I don't
today
know.
we're
I
just
don't
doing
know.
number 2. We're just doing number 2.
Exactly. And when you're like, but I saw that stuff in the bathroom's not organized. And then I saw that drawer in the kitchen. You could say, girl, focus in. What's next on the list? We're just going to focus right back in there. And if you happen to be going through a whole room that is just, like we said, it's become the dumping ground. It's just a whole room full of things. And so there's not really like, a space. It's just a one big space. Then I suggest starting in one direction, probably like moving inward and then working around a room. So just like work clockwise or work counterclockwise, just work in and then around. So that when you feel overwhelmed and you're thinking, we still have so much to do, I feel like you start to kind of spiral about it. You can take a deep breath, grab some water, maybe take a little break, come back to it and say, where did I leave off? And where am I going next? And just break it down into those tiny chunks. If it helps you to set a timer, do it. Pomodoro method is like very helpful for this.
Yeah, because a lot of times the room doesn't have, like, closets are so much like that, right? Where you're like, today I'm doing shirts. But sometimes, it's just like a big pile.
Yeah.
And so I'll be like, what can I give this today? And even if it's just 5 minutes, do the 5 minutes. It's amazing what you can get done in 5 minutes when you just like focus. Yeah.
Yeah. The just start part is huge. And having people to cheer you on along the way is amazing, which is why I talk about accountability so much, which is why I say, like, DM me when you finish, because I truly do care. You might have a lot of friends where you're like, hey, I went through that drawer, and they're like, cool, great story, dude. But trust me, like me, Hillary, like, we care. We want to hear about it.
Yeah. And find those friends that are wanting to organize with you so that you can bounce ideas off of, or or say, this was so overwhelming. And they're like, it was so overwhelming for me too.
Exactly.
Because everyone wants to feel normal.
Yes, that's a really huge part of the process, is accountability, knowing that you're not alone and you truly aren't. I know you have a community as well. Like, this is why we build communities, so that people don't feel alone, so that people know that they can do it and that they have help and accountability along the way.
All right. So let's summarize. Just get started. Use a timer, use a small place, get your supplies. Those 3 bins are great. I actually found some foldable ones at Costco that I really like because they're easy to they're like foldable laundry bins, I think is what they're called at Costco.
Those are great. The ones that just squish down.
Yeah.
Love them.
So I love using those. And then just do it.
Just do it.
Like it's going to feel so much better. Oh, and then like revel in like how amazing you are. When drawer number 1's done and you go to get your bras out or whatever, you're like, oh, that was so easy. I love myself. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just start. Know that you don't have to do everything today. You just do 15 or 20 minutes. That's fantastic. We're proud of you. And every time you're flexing that decluttering muscle, you're going to be able to feel accomplished and it's going to help you keep going.
Yeah. And it gets easier. It's just like burpees, sort of, I guess. I guess some people feel like burpees are easier.
Oh my gosh, I hate burpees so much. But they do get quote unquote easier.
Yeah. All right, Carly, thank you so much for coming on. Let's challenge everybody. Guys, do the 15 to 20 minutes. I want you, my listener, to think in your head, what area do you want to declutter first? Be it, you know, your closet or just that place that's really bugging you every day. Set a timer or pick a spot, 15 to 20 minutes, get it done. It's going to feel so good.
Absolutely. I love it.
Like a popsicle on a hot day.
Oh, the dream.
Thanks, Carly.
Thank you.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I think organizing and decluttering can be so hard to get going on. So the reality is that you just have to get started, and it may hurt to get started and it may feel overwhelming. And you have to remind yourself that that is so normal. It's normal for all of us. It's even normal for me. Even if I'm starting a new organization system or whatever, it's just really overwhelming. So don't be surprised by it and just embrace it. It's normal. Thanks so much for joining us on today's episode. The Pulling Curls podcast grows when you share us on social media or leave a review. If you do, please tag us so that we can share and send you a virtual hug, which frankly is my favorite kind of hugging. Until next time, we hope you have a tangle-free day.